What is going on, you guys? I hope you guys are having a good weekend so far. It's now time for another Blu-ray haul video. I actually have not done one of these since January of this year, so it's been a long time. I've got 3 entire stacks just over here of movies that I have bought. Some of these are brand new movies that came out this year. Some are movies that I bought when Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day came out. I wanted to go back and watch all of his movies, and I bought a whole bunch of them. A lot of them were ones that I watched for the first time and ended up keeping, and some were ones that I had watched before but never actually realized I didn't own before. And I also got a few TV shows in here, as well as some DVDs in here as well. So I'm just gonna go random order. I'm gonna start with this first stack of Blu-rays that I got. So some of these are brand new releases, and some of these are older movies that I just found because I really wanted to see them. So no particular order. We're going to start off with Saving Private Ryan. Now, I actually have seen this movie before, and I think it's actually one of the best war movies out there. And I think that Tom Hanks does an amazing job, as well as Edward Burns and Matt Damon and Tom Sizemore. And you also get a little appearance by Vin Diesel in here. So this is a great war movie, and I recommend you guys check it out. It's definitely top 10 Steven Spielberg movies, and it ended up in my top 10. So definitely love that one. Okay, we got this Longlegs Steelbook right here, this 4K Steelbook. I used to own the Blu-ray of this, but then I saw this Steelbook, and I was like, okay, I gotta have that, because I love this little image you got here of Nicolas Cage's character, and then I like how you got the word goes away with all the symbols, and you just get more symbols right underneath there. I think that's actually pretty damn cool. So I just love this Steelbook. I think it's awesome. This is like one of those movies that feels like a it's like a chef's kiss to those 90s crime thrillers like Seven and maybe Silence of the Lambs. So definitely worth watching. I do think this movie was very overhyped when it came out. I do not think it's one of the scariest movies ever. It's definitely got some creepy elements to it, but it's definitely not the scariest thing ever. So don't take the overhypedness seriously with this movie. Just go in knowing that Nicolas Cage does give a memorable performance and that it's very uncomfortable, but it is definitely creepy. So really do like that one. The Long Kiss Goodnight. My favorite YouTuber of all time, Cody Leach, recommended this, and I actually tried, and I did watch it before. The first time I saw it, I didn't like it very much because I didn't quite get it. But then I was reminded, this is kind of like Jason Bourne before it was ever a thing. You got Gina Davis, who was like a spy, used to be a spy, but now she's like a teacher, and then some guys come over to her house and try to kill her. Then she gets like activated, and yeah, now she realizes that she is teamed up with Samuel L. Jackson and is now on the run trying to figure out what her past was. So it's a pretty damn good 90s action movie. And even Samuel L. Jackson loves this movie too, so I recommend this one a lot. The Lone Ranger. I love this movie, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm a big fan of Gore Verbinski, and a lot of people say this is his worst film or one of his worst films. I don't get that. I think this movie is really awesome. You got Johnny Depp as like this Indian guy, and I think it's actually pretty funny. This movie is filled with so much good humor and comedy in here, and there's literally, you guys know me, I love my train movies. This movie contains 2 train sequences, one at the beginning and one at the very end, that I think are awesome to watch. I think this movie kicks ass. I think it's hilarious, and I definitely think it's one of Gore Verbinski's best movies. So I'm definitely in the minority on that, but so what? I don't care. I love it. This is a movie I have seen before, and I never actually owned it until now because I was very conflicted at first as whether or not I wanted to own it, and that is Infinity Pool. This is directed by Brandon Cronenberg, the son of David Cronenberg, known as the best body horror director out there. And this movie is very interesting. Essentially, if you don't know this one, it's about a couple played by Alexander Skarsgård. And him and his girlfriend are on this vacation in this foreign country. I think it's Croatia. And then they get involved with Mia Goth and a couple of other people, and they accidentally run somebody over, and they get caught, and they are basically going to get the death penalty for what they did. But then they find out there's this program to where if you have enough money, you can have a clone of yourself created, and your clone wanted to go to the death penalty for you, and you walk free. So it's got that message to it of like, why are the rich never held accountable for what they do? It's because they have a lot of money and they can pay to get out of a lot of stuff that they do. So I think this movie does really damn good with its message. The body horror here is really damn good. Like, this is actually better than any David Cronenberg movie I've ever seen. And even though I love body horror films, David Cronenberg was never my favorite. But I will say this movie is better than anything David Cronenberg has ever done. So I recommend this movie. But if you are grossed out easily, probably sit this one out. But I really enjoy it. Damn good. Fighting with My Family. I heard about this again from Cody Leach because but even though I'm not a big fighting guy, I love fighting movies like boxing and wrestling movies. So yeah, you got really good performances here. Florence Pugh does amazing. You got The Rock in here too. You got Vince Vaughn. You got Nick Frost, Lena Headey from Game of Thrones in here. So definitely a very good, heartfelt movie. This is basically the fighting movie with a lot of heart in it before Iron Claw came out. So I recommend it. Very underrated teen romance movie, if you think about it, and that is Every Day. This is based off of a young adult novel that I have not read, but this was kind of the underrated cousin to Fault in Our Stars, if you think about it, because Fault in Our Stars was like the big teen romance movie back in the day. This movie was kind of forgotten about, and essentially, if you don't know, it's based off of a novel, like I said, but it's about a person who wakes up in a different body of a different person every single day, and he ends up meeting this girl played by Angourie Rice, who you guys may know from The Nice Guys. She played Ryan Gosling's daughter. Essentially, he falls in love with her over the course of time, and he tries to get her to remember him every single day. So it's a really heartfelt movie. It's very touching. It's very thought-provoking. And I recommend you check this out because this shouldn't have been forgotten. I think this movie is damn awesome. I don't want to spoil too much about it. Okay, I know we had the 4K of this come out, but I didn't want to spend the money because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not. So we got Eraser. I did end up liking this. I may buy the 4K or the steelbook of this pretty soon. But this is a very good Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie about like upgraded weapons and conspiracies with the government and everything, and this is actually a pretty damn good movie. I think it's actually awesome. People say it's middle of the road or it's one of Schwarzenegger's weaker movies. I think it's one of his better efforts, so I think I actually recommend it. Definitely an underrated and misunderstood Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. End of Days. Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger versus Satan. Yeah. I don't need to say anymore. This movie is damn great. This movie has actually inspired a story that I'm currently writing right now that I've been working on for a while. This is one of the two movies. This and Constantine have greatly inspired this story that I'm currently writing. But yeah, essentially Arnold Schwarzenegger is like this is like the only horror film that he ever starred in where he's a cop that's like lost everything. I think he used to have like a daughter or something and she ended up passing away, and then he's like he's very depressed. I think he's borderline suicidal, and he's trying to solve this case about like this demon that's like killing people or whatever. I'd have to rewatch it again because it's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember this movie being very impactful, very emotional, and very scary at parts. The CGI doesn't age very well, but I think the movie kind of relishes in that. So I think movies made back then kind of relish in the idea of their CGI not being so great, but this movie is actually very misunderstood, and I do not understand how people can hate this movie. I think it's definitely scary. Okay, this is one of the best movies that I have watched over the last 6 months, and I cannot begin to tell you guys, because I came across this movie because Chris Stuckman said that he watched this on his Letterboxd, and I was like, I have to check that out. And then I watched it, bought the Blu-ray, and I fucking loved The Guilty. This is I think this is a Swedish movie, I think, or a Nordic movie. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's a Finnish movie. I don't know. Anyways, I can't remember. It's a foreign film, I'll say that. This is a foreign movie, And if you guys know, there actually is a American remake of this with Jake Gyllenhaal, same title and everything, by Antoine Fuqua. But this to me is, I think, the better movie, where you got this cop who, I guess, killed someone while on duty, and he is now promoted. He's now been given desk duty at the police station that he works at. So he's now a dispatcher, and he gets a call from someone claiming to be a victim of domestic abuse, and so he's basically trying to help this woman and her daughter try to get through, try to help them over the phone. So it's kind of like a kidnapping, but it all takes place within this facility. So you're just basically hearing his calls over the phone, and I think it's a damn good chamber piece thriller. So highly recommend it. This movie will shock you. It will surprise you. There are twists that you will not see coming. Check this out, please. Is it on Tubi? I think it is. Okay, it might be on Tubi, but check this out if you can find it, and it has an American Blu-ray release, so check it out. Flight Plan, this is a movie that everyone keeps saying is great, that I've never owned or watched before, and I actually love it. I think this movie is one of Jodie Foster's best things. It might be my favorite Jodie Foster movie. Yes, I like it more than Silence of the Lambs. So what? Yeah. Basically, this woman, Jodie Foster, has a daughter, and she's taking her daughter onto a plane to go back to America, and because her husband passed away, and then let's just say that when she gets on the plane, she, I guess, falls asleep, wakes up, and her daughter is missing, but everybody on the flight is trying to convince her that she never had a daughter to begin with on the flight. So, yeah, very twisty, very thrilling. You can, if you're somebody like me, you could probably see the twist coming from a mile away, but it was still damn fun to watch. So I actually love Flight Plan. I just rewatched this again. I think I rewatched this like 2 days ago because Robert Eggers' new movie Werewolf is coming out, so I decided to go and buy a couple of his movies. In fact, I've only owned one of his movies, so I'll go ahead and show all three of them right now. But I only owned The Witch up until this point, but now I decided to go back and buy his other movies so I could rewatch them and finally own them. So we got The Lighthouse, we got The Northman, and we got Nosferatu, which I'm surprised I never owned before today. But these are his other three movies after The Witch, and so I decided to go back and rewatch these. This movie is still good. It's less scary, but it is more slow-paced, so it does take a while for you to get really into it. But I do think these performances are damn good by Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. You got The Northman, which, shockingly, when I first watched this, I actually hated it. I didn't think it was actually that good. A lot of people say this is Robert Eggers' best movie up until that point, but I actually think it's actually better than The Lighthouse. I think The Witch is better. I think that's his best film still. But this movie really tells a really cool Viking story of a guy who basically his uncle kills his dad, kidnaps his mom, and then he vows to get revenge on him whenever possible. So it's kind of like The Lion King, but more violent. And then you got Nosferatu, which is the classic remake of the classic vampire story from 100 years ago. So I loved this movie. So I'm very excited. Like, again, Robert Eggers' Werewolf. If you watch the trailer for that movie, it's fucking scary. So I'm pumped for it now, especially after rewatching those. Okay, these two kind of go together. So there was a period during the winter and the spring where I got on a big Western kick because I was going through my Steven Spielberg review. I was going through my Steven Spielberg review series. If you guys watch my Letterboxd, you'll know that I've reviewed all 35 Steven Spielberg movies. And I got on a Western kick because when I watched The Fabelmans, I watched that final scene where you get that scene with John Ford at the end, who was known for directing Westerns. So I kind of decided to go back and watch a lot of Westerns because when it comes to films, Westerns and war movies, I have a lot of blind spots for. But now I can definitively say that I don't anymore. So I went ahead and watched The Magnificent Seven. This is the 1960 version. This is the cool steelbook I got from Barnes & Noble. This Western is fucking awesome. If you guys know Seven Samurai, this is basically the American remake of that. This movie is damn good. The performances are great. It's a lot faster paced. It's very intriguing. It's very awesome. And I also got the remake here. The 2016 remake with Antoine Fuqua that's got the stacked cast in here. You got Chris Pratt, Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke. Yeah. Even Vincent D'Onofrio in here. Yeah, great movies. Obviously, I think the original one's better, but I still think both these movies are damn good. They're damn awesome. So now I can say that I've watched a lot of westerns. I even got a few more in these stacks somewhere that you'll see later. So yeah, now I don't have a whole lot of blind spots when it comes to westerns. So I recommend these movies very much. And the remake, despite the fact that it's basically the same movie again, they change up a lot of it to where it actually does stand on its own, so it doesn't feel like a carbon copy. So I respect it. That's why I ended up liking it. A movie that everyone says they've watched that I didn't see until recently, and that is Pretty Woman. Yeah, it took me a long time to watch this, but I can now definitively say that I liked it a lot. Great romance movie with Richard Gere and Julia Roberts. Great movie, very memorable. I'm glad that I finally watched it. And I like it, like everybody else does. 28 years later, The Bone Temple. This is the steelbook that I got from online. I think I bought this. I think I pre-ordered it, I think. But this was a damn good follow-up. For those that don't know, I love 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. In fact, I like Weeks a little bit more. 28 Years Later, I thought was a good entry. It was a little bit disappointing. But I will say this. When I first watched it, I thought, okay, that was fine. It's the weakest film. I watched it a second time, and while it is still the weakest film, I liked it more the second time that I watched it. So I think it's going to get better as it goes. This movie is wicked awesome. This is actually the best movie of the franchise for me right now because this movie has a lot of good scares. I think a lot of the performances are great. That whole end scene from the first movie where it feels like a Power Rangers thing, I thought was so fucking weird. They completely made up for it in here. This movie completely makes up for it. So if you were very turned off by that final scene from the end of the last movie, trust me, this movie makes up for it entirely, and I cannot wait for what they do with the third movie in this new trilogy that they're doing. So love this one. So yeah, gonna move that over there. Okay, now I got some DVDs over here that I'm gonna show you guys because because apparently these are movies that you cannot buy on Blu-ray that I bought because why not? This is a movie called Tape. This is with Ethan Hawke, Robert Sean Leonard, and Uma Thurman. So this was a very old movie. This was directed by Richard Linklater. I think this was his first movie. And essentially, you got these three characters that are meeting up in a hotel, and they used to be friends in high school, and let's just say some of them have secrets, and Ethan Hawke he kind of has a bone to pick with this guy, but he also has like a secret that he kind of has a crush on Uma Thurman's character. So I think this is actually a pretty damn good thriller. There are moments where the dialogue feels a little bit repetitive and they keep going all over the place with it, but over time the movie does earn a spot. And I was so glad that I finally watched it because if you guys know me, I love chamber piece movies. Chamber pieces are movies that take place entirely in one small location, like one room or one house or wherever, and the camera never leaves the room. So this is one that I had to watch. It's not available on streaming anywhere, and there's no Blu-ray release. You can only get the DVD of it. But you know what? I think it's worth watching. So definitely check out Tape if you have not. Another DVD that is not available on Blu-ray that I am shocked that I never saw before because I would have adored this years ago. And that is Night Mother. This is with Sissy Spacek, who I adore, and Anne Bancroft. If you guys don't know who she is Mrs. Robinson from The Graduate. Yeah, that Mrs. Robinson. Love her. So, this is another great chamber piece movie where it's kind of a sad story where you have Sissy Spacek's character is a mother who she's basically the mother of a teenage son who is like a drug addict who is currently in rehab and is not doing very well, and Anne Bancroft plays her mother, and she tells her that she's planning. This woman tells this woman that she's going to take her own life later on in the night, and so she's planning on spending one final evening with her mother before she decides to off herself. And so the whole movie it takes place in real time at this house as these two argue throughout the night what they wish they had done with their lives, like what they're currently feeling right now, and also she's trying to convince her not to take her own life. And so it's a really intriguing movie that, like, you will be glued to the screen when you watch this. And if you love chamber pieces, this is definitely one that I think is near forgotten, and I do not want it to be forgotten. So we need a Blu-ray release of this pretty soon. So if the Criterion Collection ever picks this up, I will buy it. I'll pay $60 for it. I don't care. This movie is damn awesome. One of the most underrated movies ever made. And the final DVD, and this is one that I am shocked does not have a Blu-ray release. And not only that, there's no DVD release in America. And that is Malcolm in the Middle. Yep, this was my favorite sitcom growing up. I always adored this show. I think it's damn funny. I think it's awesome. Frankie Muniz obviously does an amazing job. This is all 7 seasons of the show. And if you look closely, this is from the UK. So you can only get the full show of this in the UK on DVD. There's no Blu-ray release in existence. You can get the first season in America, but that's it. But for me, that wasn't enough. I needed the whole show. So this was not cheap. I think I paid like $100 for this thing. So yeah, definitely not a cheap set to get, but you know what? It was definitely worth the price, because if you have a Region 2 player, you can definitely watch this. So I love this show so much. I think it's like damn near perfection. There's not a single wasted moment on the show. The characters are funny, and I still have not had a chance to see the revival yet. But you know, when they announced it, I was like, okay, I need to get this before they raise the price up on it, because I know it's going to be in high demand. So definitely love this one. Yeah, love that one. Okay, and I got 2 seasons of television right here. Let me move these over first before I get into that. Move that over. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I got 2 more seasons of television here. We've got Demon Slayer: The Hashira Training. This is essentially the latest season of Demon Slayer before we got the Infinity Castle movie from last year, which I adored. This season is still the weakest season because there's not a whole lot of Demon Slayer fighting until like the last episode. But this season, and plus the fact they shrunk it down, because the last few seasons were 11 episodes, this one shrunk down to 8. So I was perfectly okay with it being not too much Demon Slayer fighting and more about these characters training to become Hashiras. And I love Demon Slayer. It's probably my second or third favorite TV show of all time. So definitely check this out. And okay, out of everything in this entire stack here, this is the greatest thing. This is the purchase that I made that I'm the most proud of this entire last 6 months. The Pit. Yeah, I adore this show. My mom and I are going crazy for it. We've been watching this show constantly. We're binging it whenever it's on. Like, my mom cancels her HBO Max account whenever the show is done airing, but then once they announce a new season coming out, the moment that it comes out, she reactivates her HBO Max account for the 15 weeks that this is airing, and then once we watch the final episode, she deletes it again. So that goes to show you that my mom loves this show so much she's willing to bring back her HBO Max account just to watch it. But this, in my opinion, is easily in my top 3 TV shows of all time. It's basically a medical drama. If you have not seen it, it's a medical drama starring Noah Wyle as a chief of medicine at this hospital in Pennsylvania. But it's a very low budget and very understaffed hospital, like an emergency room. And every episode is 1 hour, and the entire season is a full 15-hour shift for these guys. So you could say there's a lot of, you could say like, my favorite TV show is 24, so this show kind of follows the same formula. And oh my god, I fucking love this show so much. Now, you can't really buy a Blu-ray copy of this show in America, so if you guys look closely, I had to buy the one from China. And, you can tell because it opens up like this, and you got all the Chinese writing on it and everything like that. But, good news though, this is still Region A, which if you look closely, I think you can see it. Maybe? Oh yeah, look right down here. If you look right there, it says all. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, right there, where my finger is, says all. It's region free, so you can play it anywhere in the world. So Chinese Blu-rays are region free, so you can watch these. So if you have a Region A player, Region B, you can play them anywhere. So if you really want to own this show on physical media, please do it, because I fucking love it. The best purchase I made over the last 6 months. The Housemaid. I did not watch this when it first came out, but I'm actually glad that I finally got a chance to see it because I like all three of these actresses. Yes, I love Sydney Sweeney, and I really do like Brandon Sklenar and Amanda Seyfried. I think these actors are great. There's a lot of cool twists in here. Definitely a big surprising movie from last year. Hoppers, the latest Pixar movie. This is probably top 10 Pixar movies for me. I think this is a damn good one. This is about like animal conservation and people trying to cut down the trees in order to build new apartments or a new highway. So I think this movie is actually it's got a really cool message, especially for children, to protect the environment and animals. So definitely check this out. It's kind of got like an Avatar flavor to it, where they put their minds inside of this, inside of these robot animals, and I was like, yeah, that feels like Avatar. High Noon, again, another movie, another Western that I got on my Western kick. This is also another one that's told in real time, where you got this guy who's basically the sheriff of this small town. He just got married and he's about to leave with his wife, but then he realizes that there was a guy that he helped put away in jail years ago who just got out, and he's going to be arriving in town within the next hour, so he has to decide whether he wants to run away with his wife or stay in the town and wait for him until he comes and basically end him, either arrest him again or kill him. So this movie is damn cool, and trust me, even though it's a movie that doesn't really have anything going on until like the last 15 minutes, it's a movie that is very tension-fueled because you're watching the clock slowly wind down as the movie goes on until it reaches high noon, and then you're like, oh my god, you got 10 minutes left, dude! Like, so, damn good Western, and I love it. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. One of the better movies of this year. Definitely creative. Another Gore Verbinski movie where you got Sam Rockwell, who is from the future, and he has like this AI. He's got like the suit on him to where he can transfer from the past to the future, and he recruits some people at this diner to try and stop this AI from taking over in the past. So I think it's a really damn good movie, and there's even some really cool humor in this movie, especially one involving school shootings, which I'm not going to say what happens, but definitely watch the movie, and I promise you will laugh. You will get the joke. Drive Angry. I was kind of on a Nicolas Cage kick for a little bit, and this is one that actually really surprised me. I know you can say what you want about Amber Heard, but she actually does pretty good in this movie as far as acting. But yeah, Nicolas Cage is essentially he was a con man who was killed and sent to hell. And so he realizes that his daughter has been kidnapped by this cult. No, she was killed by this cult, and they kidnapped her baby. And so Nicolas Cage breaks out of hell, teams up with Amber Heard to go after this cult and basically get his baby granddaughter back and put her in a safer location. So this is actually a damn fun movie. It's mostly forgotten, but I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. A lot of people say this is one of his weaker movies. I think it's actually very underrated. Drag Me to Hell, Steelbook, another Sam Raimi movie that I just watched recently. This is a movie that I have seen before, but I never quite watched the whole thing until recently. And this movie is very damn scary. It's definitely got that Evil Dead flavor as far as Sam Raimi goes, and it's definitely got that humor and that scare factor, but I love it. Love Drag Me to Hell. The Deadpool trilogy. I used to have all three of these movies in their own individual cases, but as you guys can see, I only have so much room. I can only fit so many movies in here, so I decided to shrink it down and buy this 3-pack in this one Blu-ray case. So, it doesn't look as pretty, but you know what? I gotta save room. Gotta do it somehow. I love all three of those movies. Deadpool and Wolverine is definitely my favorite one. The Collector. This is kind of like a Saw-inspired movie where you got this guy who is a jewel thief, and he breaks into this house to try to steal this jewel from this family, and then he finds out that there's actually a killer in the house that broke in before he did that has kidnapped the family and rigged the house with traps. So he has to decide whether he wants to take the jewel and leave the family, or does he want to be brave and have a heart and actually help the family out. So it's a very damn good movie, and I still have yet to see the collection, and so we'll see how that turns out. But the collector is really damn good. Clerks, a movie that I have not watched before up until recently. I have watched all these within the last 6 months, so probably not to say that every single time, but definitely this is Kevin Smith's first movie. I think it's a pretty good one. You know, it's mostly a chamber piece about some people stuck in a convenience store, so it's pretty funny. I thought it was actually pretty good. This movie was from my childhood, and I've always enjoyed it ever since. And yes, I understand it's a bad movie, but I always found it hilarious, even as a kid. The Cat in the Hat. Yep, this is the Mike Myers live-action Cat in the Hat movie. Yeah, this movie technically sucks, but it is so damn funny with its humor. There's a lot of adult humor in this. Like, there's actual curse words that are bleeped out. But this movie actually, because of this movie, Dr. Seuss's wife forbid anybody from doing any more live action projects of his work. So it's kind of sad, but you know what? This movie is pretty damn funny. I get it, it's bad, but I think it's funny. Breakdown. This is actually the 4K of the movie. I used to own the Blu-ray of this, the foreign Blu-ray, but I got rid of it. Now I have this. A very underrated Kurt Russell action thriller where him and his wife are taking a trip through the desert. They're moving to California. Their car breaks down. The wife accepts a ride from this trucker, and the trucker ends up kidnapping her, and nobody seems to believe Kurt Russell that his wife is gone. So it's a very thrilling movie. Very underrated. So if you have not seen it, go check it out. Ratatouille, classic Pixar movie. I think it's awesome. I never owned it until now. I just never thought about buying it, but now I'm glad that I own it. Basic Instinct. Yeah, this movie is very adult. Very adult. This is one of those movies my mom would have said, no, you're forbidden from watching that until you're 18. I never watched it until now, but I got intrigued by this because I love the two actors involved in this movie, and the fact that, funny story is that I actually love movies that are about writers, and Sharon Stone is a writer in this movie. She's a fiction crime writer, and I was like, okay, yep, I'll watch it. Definitely adult, but also very fun. Another underrated movie for me also, and that is Break. This is a very underrated chamber piece movie again. Essentially, it's about this guy gets kidnapped by some terrorists, and he gets locked inside of a glass box in the trunk of a car, and he is told to them that he has to tell them where the secret bunker where the president is hiding, or else they're going to kill him and his family. So it's literally him trapped in this trunk of a car throughout the whole movie. And yeah, damn good. And a lot of people say the ending ruins the movie. It doesn't really ruin it for me. I think the ending works. The ending works for me. Oh man, I got a tickle in my throat and I don't even know what's going on. Along Came Polly. I saw this because I heard it was hilarious. I love Ben Stiller and Jennifer Aniston. They do pretty good together in this movie. Essentially, he used to have a crush on her back in high school, and they're both complete opposites. Like, he's very cautious and like a germaphobe, and she's like a very free spirit. And so I think it's actually pretty funny. So check it out. A childhood movie that I never owned until now. I used to own the DVD of this movie, but it wouldn't play, so it was broken, so I had to get rid of it, and then I bought the 4K of A Bug's Life. I adore this movie. Easily top 5 Pixar movies for me. Love this movie. It has a cool message about standing up to capitalism, standing up to bullies, and learning to work as a team. I love it. It will never die. The Cell. Yeah, this is one of those movies that critics hated, but a lot of people say they misunderstood it. So this is a very intriguing movie. So if you guys don't know this one, it stars Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, Jennifer Lopez and Vincent D'Onofrio. You got Jennifer Lopez who uses some technology to enter the minds of comatose people to bring them back to the real world. And then because of her unique skill, she's asked by an FBI agent to enter the mind of Vincent D'Onofrio, who imprisoned a woman in a death trap before he had a seizure. So now she only has a few hours to live, and now they decide to enter subconscious to find her whereabouts, to find out where she is. And let's just say this guy's subconscious is a nightmare world. There is a lot of depravity and gore and just horrific stuff going on. but there's a lot of beauty in it too. Like a lot of the set pieces and the costumes are so over the top. You wouldn't expect to see anything like this unless you're watching Dune. Yeah, Dune. That's how good this is. So I highly recommend this. I think it's very underrated, and I think it's very misunderstood. So check it out if you have not seen it. It's probably Jennifer Lopez's best movie, in my opinion. Free Fire, another chamber piece movie that I found about a group of people trapped in a warehouse, and there's like a big shootout. So yeah, it's damn good. It's like an arms deal gone wrong, and then yeah. Evil Dead Rise. I bought this because I'm trying to upgrade those movies right now, and this is one of the few that I had to upgrade. And so Evil Dead Rise is actually my favorite one of the franchise right now. I'm actually going to go see Evil Dead Burn tomorrow. So if you guys watch my letterbox, you will see that I will review that movie tomorrow, and I cannot wait for it. But right now, this is my current favorite one. I like the family dynamic in this movie. I like how they put children involved in this deadite situation, and I like the high-rise setting, different from the cabin in the woods setting. But yeah, so far, Evil Dead right now, if I end up liking Burn, then I will say Evil Dead is the best horror franchise out there, because they have not had a miss. All the movies are great, and even the TV show I heard was great. I bought the TV show. It's coming in the mail right now. It just didn't arrive yet. So, yeah. Mercy. This is actually a very underrated and misunderstood movie from earlier this year. This is essentially another chamber piece movie. Yeah, you can tell I love chamber piece movies, so you assume me. Where you got Chris Pratt, who's been accused of murder, and he's now put in front of this AI, played by Rebecca Ferguson, and he has 90 minutes to prove to this AI that he was innocent, and if he doesn't prove it, he will be killed. So the whole movie is literally him trying to prove his innocence at this computer. And it's awesome. It's very thrilling. It's very cool. It's intriguing. It's not the best movie of the year, but it is damn fun. And I think it got too much hate when it came out. Okay. One more stack and then I'm done. John Carpenter's Vampires. This was his last great movie for a lot of people, and I think it's actually a damn fun movie. It definitely has that John Carpenter feel to it, John Carpenter flavor to it. So I highly recommend this movie. You got really good casting here. You got really good special effects. I like the Scream Factory edition. So, yeah, I love John Carpenter's Vampires. First time I saw it, I didn't like it very much. Vantage Point. This is a very good thriller where you got the president is in Spain giving a speech, and then he ends up getting assassinated by a bomb. And then the whole movie is told over the same 20 minutes, but it's taken place from different perspectives. So you get like the bombing from 8 different people, and it's actually a very thrilling movie. It's a movie that constantly twists everything. It constantly twists on you, and it constantly makes you think like, oh my god, like how was this person involved? What did this guy see? Is this woman involved? So it's a damn good movie, very underrated. So if you really like those real-time movies that have a lot of multiple perspectives, check this out. You might really be surprised by it. Vertical Limit. I was trying to find more Martin Campbell movies. If you guys know him, he directed Casino Royale, Mask of Zorro, Edge of Darkness. So this was another movie that I heard of by him, and you got really good cast here. You got Bill Paxton, Scott Glenn, Chris O'Donnell. Yeah, so this is like about some people who are trapped in the K2 mountain while trying to climb it, and there's like a whole rescue team out to find them. And this movie will constantly keep you on edge. Yeah, let's just say, yeah, there's moments where you might actually start gasping. Together, one of the better horror movies of last year. This was actually kind of tied with Weapons and Sinners for best horror movie of last year. I really love this one. Like, you got 2 people that fall underneath this curse to where their bodies keep morphing together and are constantly attracted to each other, even though they're a couple that's kind of having issues. So, again, another great body horror film that's not directed by David Cronenberg. Yeah. Okay. Besides The Pit, this was another movie that I'm very glad that I bought, that I actually love. Time Crimes. This is kind of like a Spanish low-budget sci-fi movie where you got this guy who comes across a woman in the woods, and then he comes across a time machine that sends him back in time by 1 hour, and he's trying to fix something that he did in the past. And then he comes across this guy wearing bandages around his face, and let's just say he may not be who he seems. So if you like time travel movies and if you like those low budget thrillers, this is a damn good one. It's very fun. It's a foreign film, like I said, but don't let that influence you whether or not to watch it or not. But yeah, damn good thriller. I think Time Crimes is very underrated. I bought this literally the day that it came out. Like, this thing was available like around Christmas, and I bought it. The Terminal, another Steven Spielberg movie that I ended up loving. You got Tom Hanks, who was like a Russian, and he's trapped at this airport, and it was based off of a true story. And so he basically lives out of the airport for like months while there's like this war going on. So I love The Terminal. I think it's a very sweet love story. It does feel kind of rushed in spots, but it is a very good and a very thought-provoking and very heartfelt movie. So check it out. Okay, so if you guys know David Lynch, the guy who made like Eraserhead and The Elephant Man and a lot of those, twisted horror thriller movies, this is actually my favorite movie by him, surprisingly, and that is The Straight Story. This is a film that's based off a true story about a guy who literally, he finds out that his brother was dying of like a disease or something. I don't know if it was cancer, I can't remember, but and so he decides to travel, and because he doesn't have a car or a license and nobody can drive him, he decides to make the entire journey, the entire like 300-mile journey across multiple states on his own lawnmower, pulling back a trailer to go see his brother one last time before he passes away, or if he does pass away. And this whole journey that he goes on is very emotional, it's very thought-provoking, and literally one of the best lines in the whole movie for me, and this isn't really a spoiler, but the best line in the whole movie for me is somebody asks him, what's the worst part about getting old? And he says, the worst part about getting old is remembering when you were young. And that really does hit. So if you're older, this movie might hit you more than it did for me, but I already loved it. And I think it's a damn good movie. And despite not being a twisted, thought-provoking, crazy horror film, and this is more of like a family drama that actually has a lot of heart to it, this was actually my favorite David Lynch movie. So, shocking, but I thought it was brilliant. What Dreams May Come, and a very underrated Robin Williams movie about a guy who gets killed in an accident, gets sent to heaven, then his wife commits suicide, and she ends up going to hell, and then he has to basically travel with Cuba Gooding Jr. to hell to go get her back, to bring her back to heaven with him. So, damn good movie. And plus, if you thought the ending of him bringing her back was already enough of an ending, they have another ending on top of that completely makes it even better. Like, it's an even better ending than what you thought it was going to be. So I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but just know that going in. Starship Troopers, I did not watch this until like a few months ago because I could never find this movie on streaming, and the movie was hard to find on Blu-ray or 4K. So, but I finally amped up the nerve to go spend a little bit more money on it, and I finally got it, and man, this movie's fucking gory. It's crazy, and I'm so glad that I finally watched it. Now I can finally join that party and be like, yep, I've seen Starship Troopers. Some Kind of Wonderful. I think this is a very good, was it John Hughes movie? Yeah, this is kind of underrated. It's not the best John Hughes movie. I think there's better ones. I think Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off are better than this, but essentially, this guy right here has a crush on Leah Thompson, but his best friend here has a crush on him and he doesn't know it yet. And so it's a movie, it's kind of like a love triangle movie, but there's really cool twists here, especially like the song that plays over the end credits. I think is one of the best songs ever. So yeah, definitely a good romantic movie. Sisu, Road to Revenge. I loved the first Sisu. I love this one even more than the first one. I think this movie is actually damn fun. I think it's thrilling. I think it's action-packed. Like, this movie is literally like a road trip film to where it never stops. And it's very fast-paced, too. It's like 90 minutes long, I think. 90 minutes? 5 minutes? Yeah, it's not even 90 minutes long. So it's a very fast-paced movie about this guy from the first movie. He's taking his entire family house across, state lines to try to bring it to a safer location where he can rebuild it, and let's just say nothing is going to stop this man. And then you got who you got here? You got Stephen Lang from Avatar, who's trying to stop him. Whoa. You got trucks, you got trains, you got motorcycles, you got cars. Yeah, the movie's action-packed, guys. War Horse, another Steven Spielberg movie that I watched for my long Steven Spielberg review series on my Letterboxd. Yeah, very heartfelt movie about a kid who begins his long friendship with this horse that ends up joining the war, and you get the whole thing from the horse's perspective. It's a really good movie, very heartfelt. Okay, this is another movie that I was surprised by. You got Victoria here. This is another movie that's told in real time, but it was actually a movie that's just entirely one shot. Like, this movie, it's not one of those movies where they shot it and you could tell where they made some cuts. They literally shot the movie one time, but they had to do it I think 18 times to get it right. So it's a movie about this girl who gets involved with these guys, and she ends up getting involved with a drug deal or whatever, and then the whole movie's them on the run. So the whole movie takes place over the course of 2 hours in real time. So you're literally watching the sun slowly come up as the events go on. But it's a really damn good movie, and the actress who plays Victoria in here I thought was damn good. So I loved it. Very underrated movie, and I recommend you check it out. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, so you may have to just buy it. Okay, these two go together. I have seen these movies before a long time ago, but I bought these new Arrow releases of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake, and the beginning. Yep, really enjoy both these movies. The remake is my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie of all time. Yes, I like it more than the original, just by a little bit. And the beginning is a good prequel to the remake. It does answer questions that you weren't really asking at all, but I think it's still fun to watch. And I do think that what was his name? Oh shoot, the guy who was shit, I can't even think of his name right now, but the guy who played the sheriff in these movies, I think is damn scary. He's scarier than Leatherface himself. Yeah. Sorry, I can't remember his name right now. Sugarland Express, this is probably the last one, right? Yes, this is the final Steven Spielberg movie that I watched in preparation for this review that I ended up liking. And yeah, essentially you got Goldie Hawn here, who she breaks her husband out of this mental hospital he's being kept in, or this jail he's being kept in, and then they go and take their kids back because they were taken from them. So yeah, very cool movie and a good sophomore effort for Spielberg. This is probably one of the oldest movies I have in my collection now, but it's a movie that I'm shocked that I ended up loving as much as I did, and that is Stagecoach, another Western that I ended up loving so much. So I've seen every version of this movie out there. There's this one directed by John Ford from 1939. I think it's the best one. A group of people are taking the stagecoach across enemy territory, and they're trying to get their way across. They battle Indians along the way. They try to get across a river at one point. They have John Wayne, a very young John Wayne in this movie, who is like a bad guy, like a kidnapper and a robber who is trying to get across the enemy territory as well. So it's a really cool movie. There's 4 different versions of this. There's this one. There's a 1966 version, which is pretty cool. There's a 1986 version, which I think is also really cool. And then there's the 2018 one, which wasn't very good at all. But if I were to recommend any of them, I recommend watching the original one, because the original one's the best, despite being very old. Yeah, late 1930s. That's how old it is. But shockingly, it's damn good. And probably John Ford's best movie right now, for me personally. Triple R. This is another movie that was released on Netflix. If you guys know, this is a movie from India that was made. This was a movie that was very popular. Everybody loved it. It was considered to be one of the greatest action movies out there. And trust me, this movie made me want to watch more Bollywood films. And again, I think it's a Chinese Blu-ray. Maybe this one is more. Yeah, I think it's a Chinese Blu-ray, because of course you got the Chinese writing and you got how it folds out like this. But again, like I said, Chinese Blu-rays are region free, so you can watch these wherever you are in the world. So it doesn't really matter at all. So I fucking love this movie. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a great action film. It's got some really good humor to it. The dancing sequences are so fun that you will want to dance to them. yourself. Like, you'll want to follow along with them, and the singing is just brilliant. Like, this is a movie that has some stuff in it. For an action film, you'd be like, how does that work in an action movie? They make it work. So, the Bollywood movie that makes me want to watch more Bollywood films. Roofman, a movie about... this is a movie that when it came out, I had no interest in it whatsoever. I didn't know what it was about. And after I watched it at home, I fell in love with it. If you guys don't know, Channing Tatum plays this guy who was an actual... It's a true story about a guy who was in the military for a while, but he couldn't make ends meet even for his family. So he decided to rob a lot of McDonald's and convenience stores by breaking through the roofs, which is how he got the title of Roofman. And he essentially was running from the police, and so he hid and lived inside of a Toys R Us for a couple of months before finally getting caught. And it's a movie that has a lot of heart to it. And he started a relationship with people. He lived off of stuff that was in the store. So he kind of had a little bit of a secret life that nobody knew about. So I think it's a damn good movie. It's really sweet and innocent. And even though you know it's going to end in tragedy or on a very sour note, it's definitely worth watching. And I think Kirsten Dunst does really good in this movie too. So I highly recommend this movie if you've never seen it. And even if it doesn't sound like up your alley, check it out anyway. You might be surprised by it. Predator Badlands. This is the Blu-ray. This is my favorite Predator movie now. Yeah, I feel like every Predator movie since Prey, they've been getting better and better. So definitely a fun movie. This one's told from the Predator's perspective. And it's kind of like a video game where he loses all of his ammo. He's going after this. He travels to another planet to go after this creature that he wants to kill. And then he loses all of his weapons and he has to try to make new ones. So it's kind of like a video game movie almost. Kind of follows a video game formula. And the character of Deck, which is the Predator that you're following, I think is so awesome that I would love to see him again in another movie. So, the Predator franchise is growing strong. Monsters University, I saw this as a kid. I thought it was pretty cool. Or no, not as a kid. I saw it when I was a teenager. I thought it was cool. I still think the original one's better. But still, this is a fun follow-up. Michael Jackson's This Is It. I bought this because we had Michael coming out, which was my most anticipated movie of the whole year. And I fucking love this. This is like the raw footage of when he was rehearsing for his This Is It concert tour. And then right before he tragically passed away, like there's literally footage in here that was shot just hours before he died. So definitely a heartbreaking story while also being damn entertaining to watch. Like, you can never go wrong with Michael Jackson. You can't. King forever. Kiki's Delivery Service, my favorite. I think this is like top 2, top 3 of Studio Ghibli movies. So this girl plays a witch and she's trying to get a job somewhere, and she ends up working as a delivery girl at this bakery. So sweet movie, very cute, this is a movie definitely made for kids, but I think it's sweet. I love it so much. 2 more, you guys. Zack Snyder's Justice League. I have seen part of this already, and I do like it, but I just haven't watched the whole thing yet. But I'm looking forward to it. I did watch the 2017 one, directed by Joss Whedon. That movie's okay. It's entertaining enough, but I know this one's going to be better, even though it's like 4 hours long. But looking forward to rewatching that at some point in the future. Final one, we got Dexter Original Sin. I have not seen this one yet. I don't have any thoughts on it, but I just know this is kind of like the prequel season to Dexter when he was starting out. Now, when they announced this, I didn't think we needed it because the first 4 seasons kind of tell you in flashbacks of how Dexter's code came about and how he developed his serial killer persona and how he got better over the years. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to checking this out. I heard people say that it was pretty damn good for a prequel. I like this little cover here where you got the very young Dexter and you got Harry's code here on the back. Yeah. So really good. I hope I end up enjoying this. I think I bought that like back in December and I still have not, or something like that, and I still haven't watched it yet. So guys, that is it. That is all the movies that I have bought over the last 6 months. So please let me know what you guys think of all the movies you just saw me present here today. And so thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you guys stick around for more videos that I will have for you in the future. And thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time.